Welcome back. Follow me on Twitter at Fingers Malloy. Of course, you can catch the podcast over at iTunes. Do a search for the Snark Factor. Next week on the Radio Hootenanny, Monica Crowley will join us. Jason Howerton from theblaze.com. And a few other surprises. But joining us right now.
Surprises being you have nobody?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
Sure.
Thanks for verbally walking over to your bag and pulling out a pair of jeans.
I was going to say thanks for verbally splitting the back of your pants.
Joining us right now on the Snark Factor hotline, she's a stand-up comedian as well as reporter/commentator over at National Review Online. She's also a regular over at Fox News. It's Katherine Timpf. Katherine, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thanks. Let's talk a little bit about stand-up comedy before we get into the news of the day. I'm always fascinated talking to comedians. I, along with half the population during the 1990s, I used to do stand-up. So I always love talking to comedians. You have a pretty impressive comedy resume. You've performed at the Comedy Store and the Improv in L.A., and as well as the Gotham Comedy Club in New York. You've been a semifinalist and a quarterfinalist at a couple of comedy festivals up in New York City. What drew you to stand up?
Well, I don't know. I mean, actually, I lived in L.A. I moved out there with a boyfriend, and he broke up with me, and I had no other friends, so I just started going to open mics and kind of complaining about it, because it was something I always wanted to try. And I'm serious, and people laughed, and I liked that I could turn my sad into, funny and talk to people. So I started doing it more and more, and then as I moved around the country, I kept doing it different places and meeting different people.
Do you remember your first bit at your first open mic night?
Oh, yeah. I used to say that I used to wear a bow in my hair and say that I looked like a nice little girl, but I sounded like somebody who invites nice little girls into his van. That was the first joke I ever wrote.
and so you've performed comedy in L.A. And in New York, or really around the country. You've toured. Did you know when you were growing up in Michigan that this may be a direction you would head into?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I did it once in college on St. Patrick's Day. I did it once at Mark Ridley's, actually, just like an open mic.
Oh, yeah.
But I went to Hillsdale, so, I didn't really get out there that much. But it was really fun, and I wanted to do it again in L.A. It was a lot easier, especially when I didn't have any friends, I had left a lot of time for stand-up comedy, and now I still do it a lot. So,
did you ever meet Pauly Shore while you were at the comedy store?
No, I didn't. Sorry about that. I mean, I've seen every episode of the Jersey Shore, so I might have enjoyed it. Maybe that's something I shouldn't tell people, but I've watched every single one, even though the last couple seasons are so bad. Once they're all in relationships, but I don't know. Probably shouldn't be talking about that.
So you go back and forth from stand-up comedy to political reporting / commentary. Can you talk a little bit about the difficulties, if any, in making this transition from comedy to politics?
Yeah, sometimes I think I'm kind of a coherent branding failure because I don't talk about politics at all in my comedy. I talk about, feminism, I guess, when I talk about women and that kind of stuff, which is something I report on a lot. And I tell jokes on TV especially when I'm on a show like Red Eye. I'm on Red Eye a lot, or even when I'm on other shows that people usually aren't. I try to incorporate humor in my writing. So I'm trying to kind of brand myself as both, but it's definitely incorporated in both, but it's not really in a coherent kind of way.
Now, because you touched on the feminism stuff in your stand-up, is that how you kind of got, tracking the leftist asininity beat when it comes to that kind of the feminists and all the rest of their PC garbage?
Well, it is tough when you're telling jokes now, and a lot of comedians, even Chris Rock, big comedians, have talked about how you're nervous. A lot of people don't want to do colleges anymore because you say something that's offensive and they're going to go nuts. And the thing is, if you're that easily offended, a comedy club or a comedy show is probably not somewhere you belong. I feel like that sounds like common sense to me, but apparently not. So yeah, through comedy and then through being a reporter at Campus Reform before coming to National Review and just seeing the kinds of things they were complaining about, it's embarrassing to me as a woman when there's actual sexism that I've faced in my life, as every female has, to see women complaining about, how they're being oppressed when they hear somebody say, "Oh boy." It's really embarrassing to me. So.
Well, I saw that you had done a video responding to that man slamming garbage.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that was genius. Now, did you get pushback from the stupid women that were perpetuating that nonsense to begin with?
I didn't, but I still see articles about her brilliant social experiment. But, hers, it wasn't videotaped or anything, and so I was kind of like, is this really true? Because she said that she walked in a straight line without getting out of anybody's way, and only she could count on one hand how many dudes bumped into her, but could count on one hand, the amount of dudes who didn't bump into her on one hand, and the amount of women that did on one hand. And I was like, that just seems statistically impossible. So I went out there and I did that around Grand Central in 1 hour. She did this for several months, and in 1 hour, 66 women ran into me. So, and much fewer men. So, but 66 in an hour, I'm pretty sure more than 4 or 5 ran into you in several months. I'm just, you're not telling the truth.
Yeah, I kind of got in a fight with them on Twitter about that.
Oh, I love Twitter fights.
Well, the sister, it's so convoluted, that whole story. It ended up in New Yorker, but it was the sister of a girl who writes for Cosmo. I'm like, really? The Cosmo chick is leading the feminism brigade? Maybe she should stop writing for a magazine that's going to tell me how to give the good blowjob and what lipstick to wear while doing it.
Oh, yeah, how to use 14 ways to use a donut in the bedroom, yeah. Great.
Well, I was reading, you had an interesting article that I actually heard Rush read on air yesterday about the new marriage privilege garbage and singleism.
Yes. Apparently, there's discrimination against single people because they're single, and it's just absolutely atrocious that we don't consider it as bad as racism. It's ridiculous. And she writes an article like, just because there's no violence against you because you're single. It's like, what do you mean just because? That's a pretty key difference there. But I don't know. I just feel like people think it's social justice. They're social justice heroes that they can go out there and find someone else that's being oppressed or another victim class. Rather than solving actual problems, you're a hero if you can find problems, which doesn't seem very productive to me.
No, I tried to wade through the article that you referenced in it, but I couldn't. So God bless you for doing that.
Really bad. It was tough for me too.
But I just wondered, did they have any reaction to like Hungry Man dinners for one? Does that doesn't target single people and make them feel bad?
No, maybe I should write that. Maybe I should write a piece about how Hungry Man dinners are sexist.
I'm sure they would love it. XO Jane would run it tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure, and everyone would be like, "Yeah, you're right. You're a feminist hero talking about what really matters to us."
Oh man, Duke, do you want to start your little Detroit quiz?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, I have one question, and Fingers has a question because he's actually from Michigan, just not Detroit, the Saginaw area. It's not really Detroit.
Saginaw, awesome.
That's right. I keep forgetting that. So, of course, you're familiar with the Detroit area, the downtown Detroit area, I would imagine.
Right.
And you've heard of the People Mover.
Right.
Yeah. Can you name 2 of the People Mover stops?
Oh, no, because nobody uses that. No, my dad drives me around when I'm in Detroit, and my brother. I don't drive, so.
All right, that's acceptable. I mean, that's true.
Wait, you don't drive?
No, I used to. I have a license, but I'm just really bad at it. So when I'm home, they don't let me borrow any of the cars. So it was just fine because driving is it's better to be driven around anyway. So it's something I'm okay with. I'm glad I got into all those accidents.
Well, who needs to smell like urine and vomit anyway? Which is pretty much what the People Mover smells like
That's
at
true.
all times.
Oh, good to know.
Well, okay. Well, my question, it's a simple one. American or Lafayette?
Oh, Lafayette.
Oh, really? Wow, okay. All right.
What does this mean, guys?
This is a Detroit thing.
It's a Detroit thing.
There are two Coney dog places,
Oh.
Tracy, that are next door to each other, and they're one guy started it, and then he brought his brother over from Greece, and then taught him the business, and then he opened up a Coney dog place right next door. So
Coney Island in general are my favorite. I always want to go there when I'm home, and they're everywhere. So my family's always like, no, like let's go somewhere else. But it's so good.
That's what we have. Michigan, that's ours. Coney Islands are it's ours. You know, everybody, you know, New York and Chicago, they fight over the pizza. You know, Chicago, they've got their own style dog, but the Coney Island and Verner's.
Verner's, that's right. Have you ever had?
Yeah. I always get the honey sandwich, though. I mean, I just think about it, it's just fried chicken with cheeses and mayonnaise. You can't beat that on a big, thick pita bread.
Have you ever had Verner's shipped to you anywhere, you know, in any place that you've lived across the country?
No, I haven't. But I've had the Coney Island, the Greek salad dressing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Catherine, one thing I wanted to ask you, Tracy and I were talking about this before you came on the show. There are a lot of funny people on the right. And yet when you see people on the right attempt humor, it often falls flat. Why do you think the right sucks at humor? Or do you think the right sucks at humor?
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm hilarious. But, I mean, maybe it's because they're scared of it. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more judges in terms of people on the right, you know, from everybody, from the right and from the left, even from the right, you know, to say something like, oh, well, was that appropriate, or was that racist, or was that sexist? I don't know. And I also think there's a little bit of, you know, being embarrassed about knowing things about pop culture, or wanting to be above things like the Jersey Shore, or, you know, 16 and Pregnant, or Girls, or Teen Mom 2, all of which I've seen every episode of. And it's not, you know, purposely shutting yourself off from the culture. You know, you're not going to be able to, spoiler alert, interact with that culture that way. So.
Well, have you kind of suspended doing stand-up comedy right now? Because I was on your website earlier, and I noticed there aren't any dates coming up.
Yeah, I need to update that. No, I'm doing a show in Astoria next week, and then I'm going to be at the Black Cat in D.C. on next Friday.
Damn.
Yeah.
Will we be seeing you at CPAC?
Yeah, I always go, so unless something comes up, which I can't imagine anything more important, so probably.
Oh, excellent. You'll have to come out for our live Snark Factor taping at RhinoCon on Wednesday night.
Ooh, sounds awesome.
Yeah, we got that. And then, of course, if you can't make it there, we'd love to see you on Radio Row. We'll be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Right, Duke?
No.
No? We aren't going to be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday?
No.
Okay. Well, there you go. Maybe you won't see us.
No, it's
Find you.
Radio Row. And then the people, and then you know.
What are you doing? Your Cosby now?
Yeah, and it's
with the people.
And it's, you know, they don't leave Jello pudding pops.
Yeah, with the pudding and the Rohypnol. That'll be us.
Oh,
kind of hard to miss. Fingers is 6'3". He's got a split up the back of his jeans and a mohawk.
Yeah, that is.
Okay, all right. Yeah, there probably won't be a lot of that there. So.
Yeah.
The split jeans, I don't know. You have been there before, right? You've seen what some of those people wear.
Oh yeah, I've been there every year for the past several years, and I've seen a lot of things. I might buy cowboy boots just to fit in, you know.
Yes, will you adhere to the dress code when whoever it is that busybodies himself with that kind of stuff puts it out?
Right.
Well, there is nothing more inspiring than seeing 16-year-old kids dress up as 80-year-old men.
Oh my gosh, I know. They're all wearing suits.
Yeah.
They're all wearing suits. I mean, I don't even know where. I don't think 16-year-olds should have multiple suits.
Yeah, that's right.
But these people definitely do. So.
I'm 43 and I barely have one.
You know, that's okay.
Yeah, and I hate it that I have one, but like you got to be buried in something,
Right.
Yeah, I only have one female suit, but it was from college, and I weighed a little more in college, so it does not fit me at all.
It's not
So,
a Hillary-esque pantsuit,
I was just going to say, I know it's a skirt suit, but it doesn't fit me at all. Maybe I'll go home and try it on and take a bunch of pictures and post them on the internet. I don't know. I don't have any plans for tonight, all right? Sounds good.
Oh, my gosh. Well, you can catch Katherine Timpf over at National Review Online. Her website is Katherine Timpf. That's TIMPF.com. And follow her on Twitter at Kat Timpf. Anything else coming up here in the next week or so that our listeners should be aware of?
No, I'm back on Red Eye on February 16th.
Nice.
So I don't know. That's like 2 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, it's in the neighborhood.
Is that okay that I still said it?
Fine.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Usually I
good.
say
Sounds
a couple of weeks, and for some reason I said in the next week this time. I don't know why.
Setting me up to fail.
I blame Common Core. Katherine Timpf, everyone. Katherine, thank you so much for joining us. Let's do this again soon.
All right. Yeah, totally.
Thank you.
Thank you. More of the Snark Factor right after this.